Hi, I'm back. I want to talk about PNES and what it is and how it affects your body. PNES stands for Psychological Non-Epileptic Seizures. Basically, what it is abnormal electricity going throughout your body. It mimics epilepsy, but it's not epilepsy. It's trauma in your brain due to stress, PTSD, extreme anxiety, moods, and it could just be a complete shell shock. For me and my experiences, mine is basically my face will go numb, I'll get a loud ringing in my ears, my legs will start to, the muscles in the back of my legs will start to move and quiver, my feet will want to move. It also turns into like an MS, Parkinson's kind of thing where my legs want to move and my arms want to move. And sometimes I'll also lose movement in my arms and I can't use my arms, I can't use my legs, and it paralyzes me. And also sometimes too, when I do have my seizures, which I started back in 2018 when they were really bad, I would have basically seizures back to back for an hour, at least to 2 hours. My worst were about 4 to 5 hours back to back. Those were my ER experiences, but I'll talk about those in another video. Okay, there's a lot on this subject I want to talk about. I will talk about some of it periodically, and it's going to be a lot. So I also, like I think I said before, I'm going to use this as an online journal blog for other people to listen to my stories and kind of try to help people out at the same time. As a child, my father was my first bully. He was always scary to me. He's a 6'4" man. He was built, he was a carpenter. He was very intimidating. He used to make fun of me because I had a stuttering problem as a child, because my stuttering was basically a fear. And I think it was part of my neurodivergence and my body trying to figure out words and how to pronounce them. I was put in speech therapy for that for a couple years, and then I was able to not be stuttering anymore. But as a child to teenagehood, my confidence was kind of shot from my parents, and growing up, my mother, that's a whole nother story. I noticed, before I go back to talking about the trail that led to my PNES, I want to talk a little bit about my stuttering too. I've noticed too, when I'm really scared or when I'm really stressed, I start to stutter. It affects my brain, and it goes back to my PTSD, and my brain kind of triggers memories of when I was struggling, and then I have to completely just not talk for the rest of the day because I can't talk correctly. I'll talk about my mother in a different video. I'm going to stick with my PNES and start to kind of explain my story first before I go into my parents. So in 2001 is when I first started to experience PNES. I was at work and I was washing my hands, getting ready to clock into my job, and all of a sudden I just passed out. I hit my head on a sink, and I woke up, and people were around me, and I was shaking, and I was awake while I was shaking, and I couldn't answer anybody. And then the ambulance came and got me and took me away. With that being my first experience of my seizures, that experience was kind of funky because my work was so scared that I was dying because of my seizures and I couldn't talk. They called actually the helicopter, and the helicopter came and got me at my work and took me away. The one hospital they took me to was an hour away, so they wanted to make sure that I was okay. I never thought a helicopter would come and get me, but it did. And I wasn't conscious through any of it. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. I didn't recognize anything. I was in and out of my seizures, but my eyes were wide open. I could hear things, and that's how my seizures basically work. I can see, I can hear, but I can't talk. For some reason, my brain cuts off my mouth and my vocal to where I can't advocate for myself. So that usually goes on while I'm in my state of seizures, when I'm in my state of shock, when I'm in my state of like, my brain kind of shuts down and does what it wants. It takes over my body. It's like a possessed kind of thing, basically. So after that, my mother came and got me and took me home. And then my job told me not to come in for a few weeks. And basically I ended up with this side of my face all bruised. My eye was shut. My lip was all swollen. My whole side of my face was bruised. And I hit the sink so hard that it's like I lost like some hearing in this ear. This ear never came back, so it's like I'm kind of deaf in this ear. And as I got older, it just got worse and worse and worse. So I guess I took off 2 weeks of work. I went back, and as soon as I clocked in, I was going up the stairs to use the bathroom before my shift, and I had a seizure on the stairs, and I fell down the stairs, completely fell down the stairs, and ended up having another seizure, and the ambulance came and got me. And this time it was really bad. This time they thought I was going into cardiac arrest. It was kind of almost like a stroke kind of seizure, to where they had to use the paddles on me. And then I finally came to be awake, and I couldn't talk. I didn't know where I was. I was kind of like in a vegetable state, but I was awake. Let me start at where all my mental conditions started. My chronic anxiety, my CPTSD, my depression, my closing down, my ability to be a person, and I was a complete shell. I'm going to go on part 2 because I think this is going to be too long, so stay tuned to part 2.